Hi, my name's Craig Steele of Axminster Tools and Machinery. Today we're going to look at our new and exciting Axminster Trade Series HW615E Bandsaw. And we're going to look at some of the key features, some of the key design features. So if I'm looking at bandsaws and I'm looking for a heavy-duty, solid, chunky bandsaw, the first thing I'm checking out is a solid, thick, chunky, heavy-gauge steel spine and main frame. This machine's got it in abundance. So you can see almost like an oversized, heavy spine here. Two heavy-gauge steel boxes holding very well-balanced, heavy cast iron wheels. Another thing that's critically important on a good bandsaw is a sizable cast iron milled flat ground table, which this one's got. This table is kind of 510 mil square, about 20 inches square, but it's also got this goldy looking coating, which is titanium nitride coating. So nice and smooth for your timber to slide over, but a good corrosion inhibitor too. Having a solid, large cast iron table is one thing, but this has to be supported really well from underneath. What we've got here is a double trunnion, so a double quadrant cast iron supported at the back here and also at the front, and a lovely hand wheel tilt mechanism, which is aided with a little gas strap. Obviously we've got a little stop there, so when your table comes down, it comes down to a positive square stop, ensuring that blade and table always is square. But if you're just doing a job and you want to go beyond the square, that comes out of the way and we can drop down to a -15 if it suits your work. So a super efficient, quiet running 2.2 kilowatt, 3 horsepower motor, all running off a 16 amp 240 volt supply. Another important thing to consider when buying a good bandsaw is a solid rip fence that once it's set straight and square, it stays straight and square. So we've got this one, which is a kind of table saw in its design, T-square solid steel section running on a solid steel fence rail and a rather kind of oversized, over-gauge, heavy, thick aluminium extrusion for the main fence. Drops on nice and easily, locks off. So Allen keys stored nicely on the side of the machine, supplied to adjust my fence. So a fence that, as well as being solid, must be able to be made square. Now this one isn't quite square. Adjustment on this is so simple. You can kind of see that we're out of square here. So with this simple adjustment on these levers, we can just put this little grub screw until you just touch at the top. There we go, square. And then lock off. Double check. Perfectly square. So a fence that's now set perfectly square, and given its rigidity and solid, it will remain perfectly square. So if you're a busy chap, you don't want to spend too much time changing blades on your machines. It's got to be quick, it's got to be easy. Let's have a look at this one. Table insert comes out. It's self-leveling kind of table insert. Table pin comes out. On there to one side. Tension's off. Open up the guard cover. Slide the blade off. Slide the blade through, slide the blade round. Okay, nice and easy. Get that blade off. And you notice that we didn't have to take the fence rail off at all, so we're not losing any of the adjustment in this area. Everything's off, blade out the side. Okay, so that was blade off. Let's put blade back on. I'm actually going to put the very same blade back on, a 1/4 inch, one of our GT ground tooth blades. I'm going to put the same on because I want to show you guys a cut in a moment. So through this table slot, remember we haven't had to take the fence rail off at the front to disturb all our accuracy on our lovely rip fence setup. So blade slides through the side of the machine there, hooks on the middle of the wheel. Let's get it approximate at this stage. Here we go. Nice, gently through, hooked on the bottom of the wheel. Double check the top, middle. Okay, and this is a nice thing for me, tension back on. So another key feature, really solid chrome handles, quick release lever. An absolute pleasure when changing blades. Before I try and spin these wheels and get the tracking right, I just turn it to brake off, so still power to the machine, but it's released the brake, enabling me to turn the wheels. So we'll give these wheels a spin, double check our tracking, make sure we're in the middle of the wheel, looking through my nice little window here, see where I am on the wheel. So easy to get the blade off, easy to track, easy to tension. Guides are going to be easy as well. Instead of hunting around for an Allen key, what we've got is a toolless change. So lock there, double stack bearings, which will cope with narrow blades and the wider blades that this machine will obviously take. And we've got little cams, so we can roll those bearings in real close to the blade, but not quite touching, with ease, and locked. So rear thrust bearing is also important to set in the correct position. This one's lovely. It's got a nice little groove down the middle of the bearing that the bearing is running edge on, which is my favourite way, to be honest. Easy to adjust, so we'll just, there we go, it's coming out. Let's just adjust it back in. So we'll just see that blade nudge forward slightly, back it off till it stops, and you can see the blade is actually sat just inside that groove. The groove will just help keep that blade running true also. So top blade guides all important, but don't neglect the bottom ones. This one's quite nice because you've got a nice generous table opening here with the table insert out. We can access the top guides without getting on our hands and knees under the table. So just unlock, and then that gives us the freedom to move this wherever we think we need to. So again, just like the top, close into the blade, but not quite catching, not quite touching, making sure obviously the teeth of the blade don't come into contact with the bearing itself. And we'll just knock that off. Can you pan down onto the pound coin? Another nice little feature, the kind of corner pedal stop. A little bit of an old school sort of thing before electrical brakes, but really useful on this machine. If you're handling a really lumpy big bit of timber, this isn't big and lumpy, I get that, but makes it difficult to hit the stop switch. You've still got a nice pedal stop there, making the machine stop almost instantly. Did you check out the low vibration on this machine, even during a cut? Pound coin balanced on the corner of the table. You only get low vibration on a machine that's seriously solid. Nice, good, parallel tube type cut. Good finish as well. So guys, the Axminster Trade Series HW615E Bandsaw, solid, simple, very low vibration. Did you see the pound coin parked on the corner of the table when I was doing that fairly deep, fairly tight curve radius there? A machine with generous capacity as well. It's the tail of the tape. Let's have a look. So throat width of 376 millimeters, 14.5 inches, with a cutting depth, a maximum cutting depth, or height under the guides, as some people call it. All right, up to the max. What have we got there, Craig? Here we go. So we are 350 millimeters, 13.75 inches, all driven off a 240 volt single phase 16 amp 2.2 kilowatt 3 horsepower motor. Thanks for watching. Bye now.